Hi, my name is James Niggemeyer and I fish the Bassmaster Elite Series Tour. Today I'd like to share some of the things that I do to catch fish from heavy matted vegetation, whether it's hyacinth or hydrilla. A lot of guys call this technique punch-in or dropping heavy weights in heavy vegetation. And it's a great way to catch heavy bass and catch some big stringers from really heavy cover. But I think a couple things that you need to go over is just your tackle first off. A good flipping stick, a 7/6. I like a St. Croix Legend Tournament. It's a 7/6 pitching rod is what I use mostly. I use an Ardent F500, and it's their new flipping reel. And I also like the Sunline Super PE braided line. And anywhere from 46 to 56 pound braided line is what I typically use. Use weights anywhere from ounce or 3/4, depending on how heavy the vegetation is, anywhere from 3/4 all the way up to 1.5 ounce. I use a little bobber stop to keep the weight from running all the way up the line. A lot of times when you'll flip into that heavy mat, the bait might get caught on the top, and then your weight will run down the line. And that little bobber stop right there will keep that weight in place. I just use a basic Texas rig when I do this. And again, I put the bobber stop on the line first, thread on my tungsten weight just because it has a more compact profile. And I used a heavy gauge hook, a heavy wire gauge hook like this is a X-Point, X-Gap Extra Strong. And it's a 4/0 size. And I tie on just a Palomar knot. Kind of just a basic knot. Make sure everything's kind of really snug down when I get to cinching it down. And you're just running that bobber stop right up against the weight like that, so it keeps it kind of one piece, but at the same time, if a fish is fighting it or something like that, they can run up the line. It's not a big deal. It doesn't. It keeps the bait together as it goes in through the cover. Cut off any excess tag in. As far as the types of baits that I use, just kind of depends on how aggressive the fish are. If the fish are kind of non-aggressive, or they tend to want to go for something that doesn't have a lot of action, a lot of movement, I want a bait that just kind of goes right in. It slides right through the heavy cover and gets right in their zone or their lair there. And I just use like this type of bait. This is a creature bait. This is called a Strike King rodent. And this is what I typically use for most of my flipping applications, especially when it's really heavy cover, whether it's vines or hyacinth. This is what I like to. This is typically how I rig it, and that 4/0 hook just fits perfectly in there. It's got a really soft plastic. Appendages tend to flap quite a bit, but as you notice, this bait is really streamlined, so it can go through the cover and get in there. And once I flip that in there, I let it free fall straight in. Once it gets down to the bottom, gauge the reel. I want it to fall on a slack line. I want it to just fall uninhibited as much as it can. And then I might shake the rod tip if it feels like it's got caught up on something. Make sure it goes all the way to the bottom, and then I may pick it up and maybe yo-yo it once or twice, bring it up to the bottom of the mat or the bottom of whatever vegetation I'm fishing, and may pop it a couple times. Sometimes those fish are higher in the water column. That's a great bait for just about all applications, but when the fish want a little bit more action, I like that Strike King rodent, Strike King Rage-Tail Craw. We've got these appendages, these claws like this that just flap like mad. And a lot of times when they want a little bit more action and they're chasing some sort of bait, or they're just used to that movement in the water, they're a little more aggressive. This is the type of bait that I like on the flipping approach. So just basically two different baits. Let the fish tell you what they want. Again, I use like a 7/6 St. Croix Legend Tournament rod, 56 pound Sunline braid. This is an Ardent F500. And this is the kind of equipment that you can really pull those big fish out of that heavy cover. Try these things for next time you're out there on the water and you're faced with that kind of condition with heavy vegetation and heavy cover, and I think some of these things will really work for you.